All right, what's up, guys? It's Ethan here, and today I want to talk about the topic of why I think Killer is harder than Survivor. And I do want to make it clear that I am a Killer main, but I have played a good bit of both sides, and I do continue to play both sides every now and then. Whenever I stream, I play like 1 hour of Killer and like 1 hour of Survivor. So I would say my hours are pretty split between the two. And some days, like some weeks, I might switch between being more of a Killer main than a Survivor main, or I might switch from being like a Survivor main than a Killer main. It kind of just depends on my mood, that tends to happen. But I want to repeat myself that I do think that Killer is harder than Survivor in most cases. And I noticed that whenever I play Killer, my matches tend to feel more stressful because whenever you make a mistake as Killer, I feel the impact more than if I make a mistake as Survivor. A lot of the time, I can have a game where I got like a 2 to 4k and win the game, but it feels very stressful. Like after the match, I feel like so exhausted. But then with Survivor, I can do really bad or get tunneled or just had a really bad game as Survivor, but I don't really feel it. Like I don't feel the impact of the bad game that I just had as Survivor. And I kind of want to go through some of the reasons why I think that is, and just see if people feel the same way or can relate or have some counterpoints. So I'll go through these reasons. These reasons kind of go into each other, but I just made a couple bullet points to go through them. So here's the first reason why I think Killer is more stressful, and it has to do with the fact that it's just a numbers game. Because you're by yourself, right? When you make a mistake, you're only gonna feel that mistake. There's no one else to feel that impact of the mistake. So when you get pallet stunned, when you get DS'd, when you hit a Survivor that has BT, if you hit someone that has dead hard, if you have to break a pallet, you have to kick a gen, you have to hook somebody, pick up somebody, only you, like the only person playing Killer, feels that. So whenever you're not doing something else, right, another Survivor could be doing, like anytime you're not interacting with another Survivor, that Survivor could be doing a hex totem that you have. They could be doing a generator. They could be doing the exit gate if all the gens are done. They could be healing another Survivor, healing themselves. There's so many things that you can't take care of because you're dealing with one thing and it's just you. Now, when I'm expressing this, I'm not expressing this as like a complaint. I'm kind of just stating like why it is. So obviously I don't think this is a bad thing because it's a numbers thing. It just happens to be that way. So this isn't a complaint. It's kind of just saying what it is. My next bullet point, like I said, these are going to be very similar. There's more things to think about that you have to do. So whenever you're chasing somebody, in the back of your mind, you have to think about, okay, do I have to leave this chase now because a gen has some progress and I know there's 2 people in this gen? Do I commit to this chase to get the hook and then get pain res or get pop? Or do I, do you want to take the risk or not? Or do you want to interrupt the gen, right? There's so many things you need to think about. Or let's say you're chasing a Survivor and you somehow lose them, maybe they're hiding behind this rock or they're in the locker. Like there's so many little risks that you need to take that could cost you the game. Now, obviously, if you lose a Survivor mid chase, I tend to do that a lot. It might be a skill issue, but it does happen. They might have something where the hides their scratch marks. There's a lot of things that you need to consider. Another reason why I think Killer is more stressful is it requires a bit more information farming, I guess you can call it. When you're playing Killer, by default, you have essentially 0 information. A lot of the information that you have as Killer is, unless you have like aura reading perks, a lot of the time you're essentially just guessing. And for example, let's say you start a match and you see a Survivor to the right of you. You know where one Survivor is. So you have to probably use your game sense to be like, okay, if one Survivor is next to me, that means the other 3 have to be on the other side of the map. And, maybe they are, but maybe they did spawn over there, but now they're split. There's a lot of things you need to consider, and you don't have that information a lot of the time. You have to basically look for the information and get that information. And I know that's the whole part of playing Killer. Like I said, I don't think it's a bad thing, but that is a reason why it might feel more stressful or harder, because you basically have to farm for that information or earn that information. With Survivor, that information a lot of the time is essentially just fed to them. I say fed like as if that's a bad thing. I should say just given to you. I don't mean it in a bad way, but you know, you have the UI. The UI tells you if a survivor is on a generator. It tells you if someone is healing. It tells you if someone's on a totem. It tells you a lot, which is a really good thing. Don't get me wrong. And survivors don't have to really farm for that information. If someone gets hooked, you know where they're hooked, this and that. A lot of information is basically there for the survivor. And killers don't really have that. You know, they have to basically either hook somebody, they have to use some gimmicky perk to get information. So killers tend to have to work harder for that information, I would say. And another thing, and this kind of ties into like perks. This one's very dependent on the map or killer you're playing. But comebacks are usually harder for killer, I would say. Because if you're down to like less gens and you're like low on hooks, right? The game could be GG's, but the survivors would have to make a really bad mistake. This is kind of like a fifth point, like comebacks being harder and this and that. But your mistakes as killer, I would say, are more impactful than survivor. I'm not saying that when survivors make a mistake, it doesn't hurt them at all. There's some people that think that like if survivors make a mistake, it doesn't hurt them at all. But survivor mistakes can be just as impactful as killer mistakes. But I do feel usually, most of the time, killer mistakes hurt more on the survivor side than on the killer side. Because again, let's say you're about to hook somebody and they wiggle off. Well, you know, that's it. Like you're stunned for 4 seconds, or I don't know the exact time. I think it's the same as DS when they get off. It's probably less. I don't know the exact time, but you get what I mean. You're stunned. You're the only one that can do anything. So the only one that can progress the game on the killer side is idle. Like you can't do nothing. As for survivor, if you know you get hooked, there can still be someone on a gen, but they might have to get off it. Someone might be healing, but that person could go for you. I would say you have more options with survivor to come back than you have options for killer to come back. Yeah, you have Noed, but that's like, you know, not everyone's gonna be running Noed. You could run it if you want to make comebacks easier, but yeah, that's kind of the main reasons why I would say killer is harder. Definitely more stressful as well. Not all the time, but I would say most of the time it is. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you think the same thing? Do you think survivor is harder? If you think that, let me know why. And if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and peace out.